Hello folks, and welcome back to Joybird Art. It has been a wonderfully warm and sunny late summer day, and of course that means I am out here on the patio doing some painting. I wanted to share with you a project I've completed first before I go back to painting the frog that you saw in the last video. This is a painting of my dad's girlfriend's house, and today is her birthday, so I had painted this in honor of Sue. You can see if I can get the glare out of the glass there. I framed this. This is her home, about 15 minutes away from here. I took a photograph when I was there last week without her knowing, and I'm going to present this to her for her birthday. So I want to share this. This is a very different project than anything I've ever done. A lot of detail, a lot of things in there that I had not tried before. So I wonder if I can move it closer, you can see it a little better. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm happy to give it to her. I think it'll be a nice personal gift. And I'm glad I completed this. I learned some new things, as I always do with every project that I do here, so that's something different. And I'll get started right away here. I have painting set up with the frog. And this evening we have some nice bird calls going on. Some nice cicada sounds and other things happening. So I'll be painting here. Got a little music in the background. Nice relaxing evening. I think I'm going to start here with another pass over the body of the frog. And you can't see this outside the shot here of the video, but I have the original photograph up of the frog that I used to paint the first version of this frog that I did. I'm going to go back in first tonight and work a little bit more on these spots that are here on the frog's back. Looks rather simple if you just look at the photo, but I will be going over this a couple different times, using a couple different colors to get the effect I'm looking for. Now sometimes if I go in with a darker color, I have an area like this, and I want to lighten it in the middle. I have a nice dry paper towel here, so I'll go here in the middle with a little point of that paper towel and lift some of that off. So you see what that'll do here is kind of create some depth to make it look like here on the edges the dark parts are a little further down, and then this can look a little more raised and then kind of bumpy. And I notice here on the photograph of the frog that the edges of these areas are darker than the rest of the kind of stripe. So I'm going to kind of work at sort of mimicking that effect as well. One good way to do that is to take a bit of heavy pigment, paint that doesn't really have as much water in it, and kind of dab it there and let it kind of settle. Then I can also kind of take up a little bit of it there, like I did with the other one. Going over here, I see there's another spot, kind of like this, over here in the photo. Now you see there's old paints here on the palette that I'm using. I already wetted them down. I have a spray bottle that I come in and reconstitute these paints with when I'm going to work with them. A little more water in there in the yellow. I'm going to land a big stripe here in the front of his leg. One of the things, the first couple times I painted a frog, I was careful, that sounds strange, I shouldn't word it that way, I was not careful to not be fussy. Because, as you know, even looking at this, we do not have straight lines all the time in nature. Sometimes we do, but especially not on organic figures like the grass here that the frog is clinging to, or the shapes of the body of the frog itself. It tends to be very irregular and natural looking, and I have to work at, in my painting practice, kind of mimicking that and letting that be so. It's also more fun that way. I can kind of paint and just loosen up and kind of let what's going to happen happen. I think that one's a little too dark compared to some of the others, so I'm going to dab that up a little bit. Just want to get a little bit of the yellow in here and some of the underpainting. Maybe water that down a little bit more. But again, trying not to touch the wet lines of the other areas that I've just recently painted. Those birds going crazy. Definitely some migration happening. Big flocks and flocks of birds, sparrows and swallows, and they're all kind of angry that I'm sitting out here painting, actually, because their bird feeder is right over there. They're not too crazy about coming and feeding while I am sitting here just a couple feet away. Fill that part of the leg in there just a little bit. Not fuss over that too much right now. Speaking of wildlife, my neighbor's beautiful husky is on his lead, and he is standing in the yard. He was just staring at me, like wondering what I'm doing out here talking to myself. Beautiful, beautiful dog. Let's see. I think I'm going to go here on the back a little bit. There's one more stripe not yet laid in. It really starts to add a little more dimension and shape to that part of the frog's body there. As I was talking, I couldn't remember the dog's name. I know I heard it recently, and it was something from Lord of the Rings I could remember, and I was calling the dog a he. It's actually a she, and her name is Arwen, which is a really, really pretty name for a very pretty dog. That looks a little heavy and harsh right now, but as it dries, that's going to blend in a little bit and not look quite so distinct. I like this uneven edge here, the bottom of this stripe, so I'm going to work to keep that, not even that out too much, and maybe blend that part in just a little bit, take a little bit of my brown off of that. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. A little bit of darker pigment here on the edge of the leg. Another kind of rough spot back here. Lay in a first level there. I'm just going to go with a light pass here where there's a stripe that goes. You can see some of my pencil lines here. The sort of crook of his leg here. There's a stripe that comes in like this. So I'm not going to make that distinct right now, but just lay in a really soft edge there. Good enough for now. That'll be worked on more in the next couple passes with this painting. Just give him a little personality even at this early stage. I'm going to give him a little eyeball. And that will not look at all like that once we get done, but just a little bit of a touch there to start. Maybe put a little bit more color here on the stripe. That's going to be more people going by walking their dogs, as you can hear.
I was telling him he's on a short enough leash, so it's okay.
He's okay.
How are you?
Hi.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Hi.
Hi.
Come on, Benjamin. Come on, Benjamin.
Dog confrontation over for now. My neighbor's a couple that walk their two very large poodles. I knew one was named Sparkle, and now I know the other's named Benji. I'm going to resist my urge to not like how that stripe looks right now, because it's not going to look at all like that on the next couple passes. For now, I'm going to leave it there. I need to let this dry until the next steps. So I will bid you adieu for now and see you in the next video.